The day COVID drops, me and Al was in Germany digging. Me and Alchemist was in this town digging, and this when we got the word like, nah, everybody gotta just go home. At that time, I was ready to get on a flight to come fuck with everybody. That's when I first started fucking with Rome and everybody. I was like, all right, let me go and meet the guys. But ever since this happened, I just been out here.
So you
Didn't
knew
get
Alk
vaccinated, so
before
now
all that.
I know Al since '99.
Really?
Yeah, I met Al. I want to say around the time that the second Buck 50 single dropped. I don't know if you even up on that.
No, I don't even I don't know the second bug.
Yeah, it's like a different era of Alchemist. It's like Buck 50, the first dilated joints.
Oh, okay,
And
yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, the first ABB type shit, and he was about to drop Keep It Thorough Prodigy. It probably came out like 3 4 months after I first met him. So yeah, I know him from those days. You know what I mean?
How did you guys meet?
Mm. I used to play. I used to be at Fat Beats record store.
Yeah.
Back when they were on the Sixth Ave and Eighth, right around Electric Lady Studio, and back in those days, like everybody would just come in just for no reason. It's like I would just be posted up at the playing records basically. It's like a bunch of 12 inches, and my job is to play everybody those same 50 12 inches like 65,000 times a day. Um so yeah, one day Al stepped in with Twin, I believe, maybe Twin and Nitty, somebody. And then like I met this other dude, one of my best friends, Wally, who actually um was going to he was going to school with Al back when Al was going to NY, and what is it, NYU, right?
Yeah, NYU. Mhm.
Right. And so he knew him, and he knew about the beats and everything. There's actually an old, very, I think one of these, probably the oldest interview you can find of Al back in his old crib. Is my man doing an interview. You probably saw it. It's like a real vintage, like
Oh, it
ALC
looks like
interview
it's
you
on
can
like
find.
VHS type shit. Yeah.
Kinda, yeah, yeah, that one. So that's my man right there, Wally. So Wally was like, "Oh shit, like, yo, you remind me of my man Al, like you," because I had this fucking cassette with 40 beats, or 39 beats on it, still on cassette at that time. So he was like, "Yo, oh shit, you doing your thing with the records, like you remind me of my man Al. I gotta like introduce y'all." And so the first time I met Al, he had just put out. I had met him in the store at the store, but the first time we met, like meaning like we spoke about a couple of things, was right after the realist came out, Mob Deep,
Okay.
Cool G Rap. Yeah. So and it is so funny because I always refer to that convo because our conversation back in it was still 99, like oh, is it 2000, 99, 2000 type shit. Our conversation was about leaving the loops alone and not adding drums to it. So I always think about this shit. I'm like, yo, this whole topic of non-intervention on the loops is pretty fucking old. So that's the first shit we ever spoke about. Also, like, I said I met Al, and I remember Al put me on one of his this CD, right? He had like the regular albums and 12 inches that came out, and then he had those CD series that was called the Cutting Room Floor, right?
Hmm.
So Cutting Room Floor Volume One was, I think, for the purists, it was like one of the illest ALC projects ever. For me back then, this shit was heavily influential, and he had like a different. The next volume was called Insomnia. I don't know if you ever peeped that one.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So, and I had like two beats on Insomnia, and I think back then that's the shit that really combined with all the other stuff. When dudes is like, "What are you doing on an Alchemist CD, bro? How? Like, why would Al even give you the time?"
Yeah.
And it really, I always felt like that was the moment, that one compilation where people was like, all right,
Was that
this
your
dude.
first big placement?
Um, I never really had big placements. You know what I mean? I'm not really that dude, but I want to say that I can't remember. It was like a bunch of little things that came out around that time, and that shit kind of like it sealed up the whole affair. It was like, I had like 5, 6, 12 inches and shit. Like one of them had like premiere on the A side, and I had the B side. It was
Uh,
the ALC shit. It was like, all right, hold on, premiere ALC. This dude is, and that's what I was trying to do. I was legit one of these like premiere fans from the '90s that was trying to be part of that world.
but it's crazy to hear like, all right, like you said you knew Alk since 99 and he just wrote that you're like the producer he likes the most right now that you might like not know.
Do
It's
you know what's funny?
you say you're
And
a bad
that's
student,
why.
but you sorry, what were you saying?
Nah, but I was gonna say that's why I was always salute Al forever, because I remember like it's now 2022, and I remember being in the bathroom taking a shit in '02 and reading like a Mass Appeal magazine or some magazine that doesn't exist, that hasn't been existing in ages, and my name will be in his top three. Then, so I'm like, yo, this dude's been steady supporting me for 20 years. Like, every time I see him, I'm like, bro, that's pretty much. I mean, I almost give ALC credit for like keeping hope alive for me, like, because sometimes nothing would happen for like a couple of years, and then I would see a tweet like Sebb, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna keep going.